Hey. Good morning, sports fans. Louis Diamond coming at you live from our BettorCenter handicapping studios. And I've interrupted my Facebook rants to make sure we get you plenty of winners in college basketball, college football, and the NFL over the next 3 days. I am joined by three fantastic handicappers today, probably the best in the country, no doubt. Not afraid to say it, and they are not afraid to prove it. And they've done it for the past 3 months here on BettorCenter, and we're going to do it again here today. I'd like to welcome the three gentlemen, Mr. Ross Benjamin, Chip Chirimbes, and Paul Bovi. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Paul, no TVs today, huh? We're in a different location. I know you travel a lot, but I appreciate you being here this weekend. Welcome back.
Well, I don't know if you could tell, but this is a Peter Max replica in the background. So if there's any art aficionados out there, you might appreciate this. I'm in a different room. I want to get the best connection possible. So here we are, and I'm ready to go.
All right, a little Peter Max for you. All right, so I kind of became a little bit of an art aficionado when I spent a little time in Europe. It's hard not to fall in love with the old art. I mean, those artists were amazingly talented. So we won't need to get into that right now. So let's get into some college football. And there's only one game here today. But Ross Benjamin was kind enough to really cipher through and get us some great information on today's game. And it is we got Appalachian State. I can't believe I don't have them online in front of me. And they are playing UL Lafayette. And Appalachian State was a 3.5-point favorite. Now they're at -3. Even I got a 2.5 minus a quarter over at 5 dimes. When we're at 53.5, now we're down to 51.5. So we got a little bit of movement on this game, but not much. So before we get into the angle, let me see who has something on this game. We'll start with, I know, Ross, you gave me the angle, and I'll see if Paul's got something. Paul?
I lean to the dog here, and it's because I believe that Lafayette is pointed towards this game. They've lost this contest to Appalachian the last 4 years, and I believe they're peaking at the right time, and they have a slight edge at the quarterback position with Levi Lewis running for 6.3 yards a carry versus Zach Thomas at 4.6. And Appalachian State's offense has been not as crisp as they were in the last couple of years. This is a game I feel you can play in terms of live wagering. If somebody jumps out, one team jumps out to a 7-0 lead, grab the dog, because I feel it's going to go back and forth. And on the strength of the 3 points, which I did take, I'm going to lean towards Lafayette to get the win or stay very close to the number. This game should be decided by a field goal either way.
Okay, you're looking for a tight game here, and the angle is I'm going to read the angle, and we'll see what Ross has any opinion on this. So, but Appalachian State's coming off a 47-10 home win over Troy, which improved their season to 7-2, 777 win percentage. Now, that being said, any college football home team, which is Appalachian State today, that is playing after Game 7 of their season and is coming off a win by 35 points or more, they have a win percentage of 600, and they have a win percentage of 600 or better, has resulted in those home teams going 36-2 since 2017. So that's not a very long trend. That's only 3 years, and you got a lot of numbers in there. 36-2. Paul, you're kind of going against this angle today, but the straight up betting angle takes a little more importance because, it supports the home favorite of less than a field goal. And the chance of a home team winning by 1 or 2 points and not covering isn't impossible, but highly improbable. So you got this tight window that you're fighting with this angle here tonight. What are your thoughts on this angle, Ross?
Well, again, I got to have more than just the angle provided. I mean, that's just an indicator to me, and it's my job to provide these angles for you. But above and beyond that, this is a free play for me tonight. If you go to my website, you'll see a free pick video on that. Here's what I'm looking at. I could see where Paul's coming from. If I really like this game strongly, it would be a pay selection. But what I'm seeing here is I go back to 2016. Since 2016, Appalachian State is 20-1 straight up in conference home games. And if they're a favorite of 16 and a half or less in those games, 8-1 against the number. Now, yes, actually, Paul, they not only beat them the last 4 years, they've beat them the last 8 years in a row, meaning Appalachian State against Louisiana Lafayette. And they've had plenty of times for revenge. And I know they're the number 20 team in the country right now. And again, we go back to what we've seen many times over the course of this season, an unranked team like Appalachian State as a favorite over a ranked team. The sports books, I trust their judgment a lot better than I do the pollsters. And secondly, you look at UL Lafayette, they've already have a seat in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game where they'll face Coastal Carolina. And there's not a lot of urgency and desperation in their game tonight. Where Appalachian State, still a 7-2 team. And think about this, guys. Their only 2 losses came against Coastal Carolina and Marshall. Both of those teams, the last I checked, are undefeated. So I have a small lean here. It's going to be a free play for me. I like Appalachian State late at 2.5. If you can get a money line of 135 or less, I would even contemplate using them on the money line as well.
Okay. So maybe tie them up in a money line parlay if you don't want to lay the big juice, but it's not that big a juice, $1.30 or so. So, which it is big juice, $1.30. Any juice is big because that's just what it is. So we got one telling us Appalachian State with Ross, and then we have UL Lafayette with Paul Bovi. So, Chip, pressure's on, buddy. What do you got?
I'll take the pressure off. I'll pass. No, this is this is a tough game to call because you have an unranked team favored over a ranked team, and Ross is right. They've beaten them the last 8 times they've played, but it's been in the last 6 years. Twice they've beaten them in the conference championship game. So it's 8 straight wins over 6 years for App State. They're not, I think Paul's right about them not quite being the same this season as they have been in the past, though, like Ross said, their only 2 losses came against undefeated teams. I was conflicted on this. I thought that Appalachian State was definitely going to be the side, and I would take them because all the glitz and glitter should be with Louisiana. And yet I'm seeing most of the action, the public money, and even wise guy action coming on App State. And I get very leery when I see all this kind of money coming on the side I like. So rather than posting Appalachian State, who was my first instinct, I actually passed on the game. But you're getting my opinion right now.
Well, thank you very much for that non-opinion, because non-opinions are many times better than the opinion itself. But I got to kind of agree with you as well, Chip. I the only thing you got 2 bad teams that really haven't done well against the number. Mountaineers 2-8 against the number. Their last 10 games, 2-7 as a favorite, 3-9 on turf. That doesn't give me any reason to want to back them. And then UL Lafayette 2-7 following a straight up win, 2-7 in the conference, 1-4 versus following an ATS win, 1-5 versus a team with a winning record. And we're not getting a lot of points. Usually in this scenario, I will like the underdog, but I won't be playing it here tonight. The only thing I can give you is Ross's angle. So that gives you a little bit of an edge on the game if that's what you consider with that angle tonight. So tough game.
I got a question for you. What would be the record of teams that have scored 70 points or more in the following week? Just to I'm actually make
I
them a
can
little
look that
lighter.
up, Paul. Well, I can look that up for you if you give me a couple
Actually,
minutes. So, you're talking about Buffalo this week against Ohio, I assume.
And
no, I believe
Lafayette scored
Lafayette's
70 last week.
All right, let me look that up real quick, guys.
All right, we got Ross in action. You know, Ross and I got a little master class going on after the show here today, and we're going to do some handicapping. Ross won't be here tomorrow, but once him and I spend a little bit of time going through the schedule and breaking this stuff down with his trusty little software, I'll come back again tomorrow and have some more goodies for us with that stuff. So, but yeah, a question like that, Ross can get us that answer by the end
Just
of
give me
the
another
show, I'm
minute,
sure.
guys, please.
Yeah.
By the way,
So
they both lost to Coastal Carolina. And App State actually should have beat them. I remember I had App State that game, and they turned the ball over 3 times. If you look at the stats, they were very close. I think the game is going to be – it's a really close game. And, again, I'm a lean here to the 3 points just because it's 3 points, and I believe that actually may come into play here. It's going to be that tight. And I do believe they will be motivated. When you lose to a team in conference championships and you lose to them consecutively, you're going to give your best effort, and that's the way I feel this is going to go. So I don't think it'll be a question of motivation here. If App State gets the best of them, it'll be probably because they're the better team, or they get a break or two.
all right,
I need
I
another
got some
minute, guys. Sorry
okay.
about that.
No worries.
But-
I'll touch on the under here real quick because I do see some under numbers that are kind of rearing their little head, and a couple over numbers. We'll talk about it. But 13-5 to the under for the Cajuns, Raging Cajuns. Their last 18 games overall, 7-3 in December. I don't know how much I buy into the months. I know we get the colder months, but I don't know if that really ties in specifically. But one thing that makes me a little leery on that under is the over has hit 36, 17, and 1 the last 54 times that they've allowed less than 170 yards in their previous game. So when they've had a good game, UL Lafayette defensively, it doesn't happen 2 weeks in a row. So at least that's what that trend is telling me. Now, App State, they come across the board straight unders almost everywhere you look at it. Not huge numbers, but this year's numbers. 5-1-1 following a straight up win. 5-1 their last 6 games following a straight up win of 20 points or more. And so when they have the big win, the next week seems to go under. So I guess I got to give 6 out of the last 8 have gone under. So I got to give a little edge on the under here today on that game. So
okay, here we go, guys.
Go
Teams that scored 70 or more in the previous game have gone 140-66 straight up since 1986. Again, the straight up number is significant because you're looking at a point spread that's very low right here. And as far as against the spread, 106-98. If they're playing with revenge, those teams have played that scored 70 or greater in the previous game are just 21-32 against the number. Again, Lafayette's going to be playing with revenge. And if they're an underdog, they've gone 20-23 against the spread. So hopefully that is what you were looking for.
What do you think about that, Paul?
I look, check and checkmate. What can I say?
All right. So, it's got a cool little toy there, right? Cool little toy. So, and luckily we're able to take advantage of it and get this information. Doesn't mean it's always a winner. Paul used to make
that's what I want to clarify with
That was
people.
a 50%.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chipper.
No, I would say that was a 50% trend, 106 and 98. That evens out to like 50-50 with the VIG. So
yeah, against the spread, correct. But it's about 50-50 as an underdog. The only compelling factor is if they're playing with revenge, with which UL Lafayette will be playing with tonight. They're 21-32 against the spread in that situation.
Okay.
Ooh, 21-32 with revenge. That's kind of scary for you, Paul, huh? You thought the revenge was
After
and
7
listen,
points.
I'm
That's
right with you, Paul. That revenge is the
That's
shit.
not a huge sample size now. 21-32, not a huge sample size.
Yeah.
You flip around 4 or 5 games, and all of a sudden it's 50%. But I know where this is going, and I respect it, and I do believe App State can win this game. And again, 3 points, I'm grabbing it. I might get out of some as the game plays out. But if it was an even game, I definitely would not be on the dog here. I'd probably be sitting back and just taking a look at it from a live wagering standpoint solely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just clarify if I can, because Paul hasn't worked with me a lot. Chipper and Louie know this. Just because I have a betting angle, it's not. I don't go. I go well beyond that. Okay, so this is stuff the listeners like. This kind of stuff, so I provide it. But as far as actually making a bet, there has to be a lot more supporting factors than just the angle itself.
Sure.
I understand that. I know you're a sharp guy, Ross.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, sometimes I will say the angle is enough. Sometimes I will. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll say I got the angle and all of this stuff to go with it. And, so it's just a tool, guys. It's a tool. Nothing is going to have a magic wand. No matter what you look up and no matter what you research, the magic wand doesn't show up. So, and that's really what it is. It's just about having enough tools at your disposal and learning how to decipher within the tools that you have. So, all right. So I guess we've kind of beat that game to death a little bit here right now. Hopefully, if you're watching, you got yourself a little bit of a something to go towards the way you were planning to go, or maybe we changed your mind a little bit. So college basketball, guys, college basketball right now. I don't know. I'm trying to see what my record is. 60. I got this college basketball system. I'm going to give out more picks here today at the end of the show when we do the pick thing. And I think I got 9 plays today. So I got a lot of college basketball. Yesterday we went 3-3. So did nothing but kiss our sisters yesterday. But that's okay. We got plenty of action here today and plenty of action coming up. So I will have plenty of plays during the most interesting play. So stick around for that with some college baskets. So and don't forget BettorCenter.com. There's a couple plays out there right now that Chip and Ross have in the bin. So Chip is releasing his NCAA basketball power play best bet winner. You can get that one for $39 on BettorCenter.com. And Ross has his Friday 10-star top play, $50. So these guys done some homework for you. If you're looking to get serious on something here today, those are the plays. The App State, it's certainly something for action. Nobody's really coming at us too strong. Actually, Paul came at us with a nice play, which is kind of going against a lot of the stats and trends. So it doesn't mean Paul's going to lose. It's just going to show you if Paul wins, he's sharp. But we know Paul's sharp. He's been giving us some great stuff over the past few weeks.
By the way, Louis,
my percentage on the show, I will tell you, is up there. I don't know what it is, but it's probably in the 75 to 80% range. I'm not suggesting that I'm going to hit at that kind of percentage over an extended period of time. And anybody that tells you they can do that is just full of hooey. But I for whatever reason, it's been working out here, and hopefully it will continue. So let's go Raging Cajuns, and I'll get into a couple other plays later in the show that I feel are gonna make you money.
Hey, Louie, and both me and Chip are on the same game tonight in college basketball. That's the Wisconsin-Marquette game, which is on national TV, Fox Sports 1.
Okay. Well, there you go. So do we know if you guys lined up? I would know if I go take a deep look, but I don't want to spoil it. So, all right. So there you go. You got a couple plays out there. Ross and Chip on college baskets tonight. And so take advantage of that if you can. I have my college basketball system. I got a lot of plays I'll rattle off to you in a minute. But let's talk about some football this weekend. And I know actually the end of the weekend, Mr. Bovi has made a decision on the football team versus the Steelers. So that's Monday night. We got Pittsburgh. They opened up at 9 and currently down to about 7.5 against the Redskins. Take it away, Mr. Bovi.
I want everybody to get involved in this game because we all saw what happened. What was it? Tuesday afternoon, a matinee, Ravens versus Steelers. Steelers end up getting by 19-14. By the way, that was their third game of the year that they have prevailed by 5 points. RG3 in the first 3.5 quarters threw for a whopping 33 yards. And there was a what do you call it? A clock gaff at the end of the half, which prevented the Ravens from putting any points on the board after a ball was dropped in the end zone that should have went for 7 points, but it did not. But anyway, the Steelers got by once again. Now, you can look at performance or you can look at record. Squares look at record. Professionals look at performance. The 11-0 record that the Steelers have compiled does not align with the performance on the field. They have faced quarterbacks such as Jeff Driscoll, Jake Luton, RG3, who I mentioned threw for 33 yards, and Garrett Gilbert in a game that they held on against the Cowboys 24-19. Now, on the defensive side, they just lost Bud Dupree. 8 sacks, 11 tackles for loss this year. And this also, Stephen Tuitt is going to be out, 7 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. That's 15 sacks out of a lineup that has totaled 41 for the year. So the strength of this defense, which was the pass rush, is going to be severely dinged on Monday night versus a rested Redskin team that is coming into their own under the guidance of Alex Smith. They're getting productivity from running back Gibson as well as McKissick, Terry McLaurin. The Steelers cannot run the ball. They're not strong in the secondary. They don't do a lot of things well. Ben Roethlisberger, whatever people are saying about him having his best year, it's not true. He got very lucky at the tail end of that Raven game. He threw something up for grabs that was miraculously pulled down by James Washington and extended the drive at the end of the game, which could have given the Ravens the ball back if that had not been completed, with potentially getting the tying or winning touchdown, but it didn't happen. And again, performance versus record. Take the points here. The Redskins could easily win this game. Fair value on this game is 7 maximum.
Okay. All right. So Paul is seems to be not just on Washington, he's on him pretty good. And I don't have a problem agreeing with him on this. The Redskins have kind of turned a little bit of a corner and feeling, like they're got something going. And plus they have Ron Rivera, going through his cancer treatments, which always pulls a team together, not apart. And they may be gelling right now. So I'm not having a problem agreeing with Paul here. Any thoughts, Ross?
Yeah, I agree with Paul as well. I think if I have a lean at this juncture, it would be on the Redskins. The only thing that I might disagree, and just to play devil's advocate, is yes, Pittsburgh has played a softer schedule, but by the same token, Washington's playing in the NFC least. So, yeah. But having said that, if you look at Washington's offensive numbers over the last 3 games, they've been terrific, averaging close to 30 points per game. And I think what people lose sight of is how good Washington's defense has been all season long. I mean, this is a team that's, allowing around 20 points a game and close to just a tad over 300 yards per game. And it's been even better than that. And one thing Paul brought up that a lot of people don't realize, Pittsburgh, first thing you think of them is always with an effective running game, and that has not been the case this year. And Washington's pretty good against the run. And on the other side, they've given up some yards rushing with the exception of the Jacksonville game, meaning Pittsburgh. And Antonio Gibson looks like a unheralded back right now who's really come on this year. And I think Washington's going to be a tough out in this spot, especially in the fact that Pittsburgh's coming off a big rivalry game against the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. Chip, something about this game, the Redskins are 7-21 on Monday Night Football. You think that has anything to play with this? Your thoughts on it?
No, that's exactly what I was going to lead with. They've only won 7 of 28 on Monday nights. But, maybe I'll go another way with this game. Everyone's had pretty valid points, but defense is the key. Number 4 in the NFL, allowing 309 yards a game. Washington, number 3 in the NFL. Pittsburgh allowing 298. Both number 1 defense against the pass. Steelers, number 2 defense against the pass for the Redskins. The problem here, Redskins have 18 turnovers on the year, and the Steelers have 21 or 22 takeaways. So turnovers might be a factor here, other than the fact that I think this game is to stay under. Antonio Gibson has been running the ball for Washington. They've been able to keep the ball in possession-wise, even though he's a big-time back that can go all the way from anywhere on the field. Pittsburgh's 4-1 in the last 5 meetings against the points, but I think the way to go is the under here. I'm not even a totals player, as you know, but Paul and Ross had some good valid points about Washington, and I would probably love to take them, other than the fact that 7-21 mark, which you mentioned, Lou, against the points on a Monday night, really dooms the DC Swampers. So I'm going to play this one.
Kirk Cousins was the quarterback.
Terrible. I mean, the 7-21 to me, that's a throwaway. That's like saying the Yankees in 1962, blah, 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 because this would retrace back probably to the 80s and the 90s. These are different players, different time, different regime. And you make a good point, Chip, but as far as the pass defense, remember the quarterbacks they've been facing. As far as the secondary, I could go down the list. 100 yards to Slayton in the first game. Travis Fulgham, 10 catches for 150 plus. A.J. Brown, 6 catches for $143. This secondary also has been exposed. Joe Hayden is no way the cornerback that he is today that he was, let's say, 7 or 8 years ago. So there is some dynamics involved with those statistics, which I believe skew the numbers in favor of the Steelers.
Yeah, can I add in too, please? I agree with Paul. I'm a betting angle guy, but I'm not a team trend guy. I am a team trend guy if it's all under the same coaching regime as Paul just brought up. Now, if you had a strong team trend with Pittsburgh, I would give it a lot more consideration because Mike Tomlin has been there the last 15 years. Ron Rivera's only been with Washington 1 year, and we all know Kirk Cousins' dismal Monday night record when he was with Washington most of the time. Yes, a couple of them came with Minnesota, but to me, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody when I say that, it's just that to me, these team trends that go back 20 years or so mean nothing to me.
I don't know if I agree with that wholeheartedly or not. I think it's a toss-up. So I think a lot of the mental anguish when a team always goes somewhere and gets beat up, that covers the organization as a whole. And so that will normally, I would assume, that's going to be the little bird that chirps throughout the week of that game. So it gets in their head sometimes. I mean, that's why I look at them. So that, doesn't mean it is the answer, but, I just, I can't always throw it away, but I certainly don't see it as why I would bet a game, but I do account for it a little more than that. So now the under in this game, Steelers 38-18-2. So here you go. Over the last 58 games, following an ATS win, they've gone under, and they're under the same regime. But that being said, we've talked about this before. Pittsburgh as a home favorite, 16-7-1 to the over. So you're kind of fighting that back and forth. And that's where a handicapper like Paul comes in. He's analyzing he's not just looking at the numbers and the stats and the trends. He's looking at these players and looking at these matchups, and that's key stuff. So good stuff, guys. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to try to show this real quick. Nobody knows what I'm doing here right now, but I just want your opinion. Oh, Eugene's got it. Eugene, play this, and let's have a good laugh, and then let's talk about it. No. All right, never mind. All right, here we go. I got this. Eugene doesn't have it, so I am going to show it to you right now.
Here's how the NFL is rigged. Well, motherfucker. Here's how the NFL's rigged. Baltimore is plus 10.5 points, and Pitt clearly is dominating the game. Tell me what you think.
Oh, shit.
Oh, get him. Oh, get him. Oh. And there you have it.
Did you guys see that first missed tackle? You guys probably saw the game, right? Do you remember that play in the game?
Yeah, I'm not a conspiracy guy in the NFL, and I have little respect for anybody who thinks that that's a factor. It's more of crying over spilled milk and guys who are frustrated that don't win.
Ross,
like the old saying goes, I'm not paranoid. They're just all after me.
Yeah. A lot of guys will never believe a conspiracy, no matter if it's right in front of them or not. But that has to be the most embarrassing play from a defender that I've ever seen. The first one where he was diving to make that play, that was comical. That was absolutely comical. Listen, I gamble on it, and I believe when it has to happen, it does happen. And you'll never ever get me to believe that the boys on the street are not in control of the money that moves around. Never will you ever get me to believe that. So how about you, Chip or Paul? Anything on that one?
I don't know. Things seem to happen in weird ways at times, and sometimes you have to question what's going on. Why does a coach go for 2 when he can kick an extra point to make the game 7 when there's only 13 seconds left in the game? That game, Philly Seattle game the other night, was really raised some eyebrows. But for the most part, I think the players are doing the best they can each and every time.
Well, I would agree with that for the most part. Absolutely. So, but sometimes the phone call comes in, guys.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that.
It's absolute baloney, Louis. I'm really disappointed in you because anybody who thinks that goes on in the NFL on a consistent basis, it's ridiculous. So you're talking about players with make millions of dollars a year. Why would they risk that? Come on. I mean, you're going to tell me that cornerback, somebody called that cornerback before the game. If you've got an opportunity to make a tackle with less than 2 minutes to go, let him score. Please.
What I'm saying is,
I got a little patience for that.
What I'm saying, Ross, is that was a professional cornerback on that play.
No, if you believe that occurred,
that was not the act of a professional cornerback on that play. That's all I'm saying. But let me give you something else.
Professional cornerbacks make bad plays. Professional quarterbacks make bad plays. Sure. Sometimes the timing of such is for a sports bettor makes them scratch their head. I get that. But to suggest that this happens in the NFL office is in control of this, come on. That borders on delusional. I'm sorry.
Really?
I mean that is no disrespect, but I
Saints
mean,
and Rams.
again, I don't buy into it. If
Saints
you
had
do,
a Super Bowl taken away from them. Saints had a Super
I-
Bowl taken away from them. You can't
There,
give it back to them.
there are
That's
some
not true,
times.
Louis, that's not
There-
true because the Saints got the ball first in overtime and did nothing with it. I don't want to hear about
Well,
the
that's
Saints
not-
got called because boo, 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 New Orleans. You got the ball first in overtime, didn't score. The other team comes down to score, and you're crying about a play that happened during regulation. You got the ball first.
Well, the play,
Yeah,
I
and,
know,
and with the two-point
doesn't
conversion,
matter.
Chip, that you were referring to, we
Yeah.
discussed this, okay? That was a
Yeah, we
questionable
did.
call. Okay, that was I don't understand that logic, but you're also talking about a head coach in Peterson who went for 2 after he scored the first touchdown, down 14-6. If you look at
Different
his
scenario,
history,
though, Ross.
he's an analytics guy. He goes for 2 in situations you just doesn't make any sense. So in that line, yeah, that makes you question it a little bit, but there's been a history with him
A
doing
lot of
that.
it.
You're right. You're right about one thing.
Whether
That
there's
didn't
a-
make any sense. Not to me. You can go for 2 the next time they score.
I
to win.
agree. I agree, Chip.
Well, listen,
First
whether
play
there's
of the
a
score the game is fine. You know,
whether
I-
he
I-
has a history of going for 2s or not, he needed to kick an extra point to make it a 7-point game.
I agree. But you're to say
that just
that's
can't-
a fix, okay, is really without any substantial evidence. Things like this
You're not
happen in
getting
the NFL.
substantial
And again,
evidence.
it always seems like the person bringing this up is the person who loses that bet based on that decision or missed tackle. You know,
Believe
so,
it
come
or
on.
I didn't. I had no.
And-
Listen, I had number one. I had Baltimore yesterday. I had them large. Number
The-
one.
the
I loved it. I love the play.
Yeah, but come on.
Analytics on that say to go for the 2 points, that you're going to end up better off going for the 2. It is a marginal differential, but you're supposed to go for the 2 points there, believe it or not.
with
And
I just
no, I
not with
agree
13
with
seconds, Paul.
You know, this is where
I-
analytics to me, Paul. Go
I
ahead,
don't
Chip.
believe it.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
Go ahead,
I'm
Chip.
saying I understand going for 2 maybe in the long run, but with 13 seconds to go in the game, there's no reason to go for 2, none whatsoever. Because if you do score again, you have to go for 2 again just to tie. And so,
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the situation did not deem going for 2 analytically or any other way in my mind.
Yeah,
It's just-
and again, these
And-
analytics sometimes is what I question, not the coach's decision. Somewhere along the line, Peterson's been sold on these analytics as a Bible, and I don't agree with it. I mean, Chipper makes a good point, Paul. You know, the percentage of kicking an extra point, I'm sure you would agree, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't, is a lot higher percentage of making an extra point than it is making a 2-point conversion. And
Ross,
again, you could
not
say, okay,
agree
they
with
didn't
it.
make, they went for 2. It's still a 1-possession game. It's not, because now you have to score twice, in my opinion. You got to score a touchdown, then you got to convert from the 2-yard line, which is a lower percentage play than an extra point.
I did not say I agree with it. I'm
Right.
just giving you the guidance, the guideline as to what he was following from a mathematical point of view. I personally don't agree with it, but I'm trying to refute the whole concept of the
Right.
conspiracy thing
The
as
cheat.
it applies
Well,
to the points.
I mean, I
That's all I'm
respect
trying
your
to do.
opinion, Paul, okay, immensely. You've been around a long time. Are you a proponent of all these analytics? Do you think they get overused sometime? I mean, especially on 4th and short plays. You know, I mean, a team has a 4th and less than 1 at their own 30 early in the game, and they're going for it. You know, I don't know. I just not 100% proponent of it.
Ross, I follow my gut. I am a visual type of guy.
Right.
So in other words, these live wagering lines follow analytics. And a lot of times I can get a play off live wagering because the basis is analytics versus my gut, and I trust my gut. Same thing with analytics.
I agree. I agree with that opinion wholeheartedly.
All right. Well, guys, this is a nice heated debate. I truly enjoy it. So I know you guys got a little frustrated with it, but you don't want to know something? Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and dare I even go there? right now, and I know we need to end this show, and maybe we'll touch on it again, but at the end of the day, you guys know damn well that the cash that goes through the bookmakers are controlled by the boys on the streets. That hasn't changed. It's not changing. And you can deny conspiracy all day long, but the boys got the power and the boys got the books. So that has to be in your thought process as well. But I wouldn't say it's tough to handicap on that, but to deny that it happens, I can't buy that either. So, all right. That being said, guys, it was a nice little talk there, nice chat. Let's get to our most interesting plays of the day and see what we can got here for this weekend. Chip, you got an interesting play for us here this weekend?
I don't know, boss. I'm telling you, the pickings are slim there out on Saturday, and I think the Wisconsin-Indiana game is an interesting, very intriguing, considering how good Indiana has been the entire year. Their quarterback goes down, Penix, and the line opens 14. This is a Wisconsin team that lost last time out to Northwestern, 17-7, though they outgained them, and they still have the number one rated defense in the nation, allowing just about 200 yards a game. I think Wisconsin is going to romp over this team. I know there's a capable replacement for the Hoosiers, but I just think the numbers are overwhelming here, and I think that Wisconsin is coming to play. I like the Badgers over the Hoosiers.
All right. Chip's a honey badger here today, and let's see what do you got for us on the weekend? I know you got a little stuff going there for us.
Yeah, TCU at home against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State now is down to a 1-point favorite. I don't like the direction Oklahoma State is going right now. Their defense, which was so dominant early on, no longer is. TCU, you don't know what version you're going to get of them, but they are playing their final home game, and it's senior day, so a little bit of emotion on their side. And the other point is that Chuba Hubbard is probably not going to play, and if he does, he's going to be less than 100%. If you look at Oklahoma State over their last 4 games, barely get by Kansas State, who's got a depleted roster right now, and then they did defeat Kansas last week, but everybody defeats Kansas. Oklahoma State has given up 41 points or more in each of their in 3 of their last 4 games, I should say, and they even gave up 23 against Kansas, who can't score 23 on most Division II teams. So I'm going to take TCU here over Oklahoma State.
All right. Little TCU love from Mr. Ross Benjamin. Paul Bovi, how about you? Got something solid for us on the weekend to leave us?
I'll throw a couple at you. I like Ball State over Central Michigan. Central Michigan cannot defend the pass. You look at the first game, Rourke for Ohio went 12-19. I believe it was 231. In the next 2 games combined, he passed for 155. And that trend in the successive weeks held true. I think last week, Eastern Michigan, Hutchinson, I'm throwing these numbers off the top of my head, but I believe he was 23 of 37 for 365. They can't defend the pass. Drew Plitt can throw the football with authority. They had a nice game over Toledo. I was on the wrong side of it, but I believe Ball State is the play here. Nebraska-Purdue, I believe, is an overplay. I got it at 59. It has surged to 62. If you look at this Nebraska team, the last decent quarterback that they have faced, they faced Iowa, they faced Penn State, substitute quarterback. But the last decent one they faced was Fields for Ohio State, who went 20-21 for 276. Now, Purdue is not going to have Aiden O'Connell in there. Plummer's going to be the quarterback. But I still think they're going to score a lot of points. And on the other side, Purdue hasn't been able to stop anybody. 64 is fair value here, in my opinion. 62 is still a play. I got it at 59, and I'm looking for 74 points here.
74. So you got a couple touchdowns above, a little cushion. So I would definitely put some action in on that one. And let's close it out here with Chip, your most interesting play of the weekend. Or did I give it to?
I believe I already gave you my most interesting play was
You
Wisconsin.
gave me yours. Yes. It was. I need to go to Ross.
I
Did Ross?
gave you
Ross
my
gave.
most
Yeah. All right. You guys are waiting on me. All right. I'll pay attention someday soon. All right. So I have nine college basketball games today. You can get these out on the BettorCenter.com page on Facebook. So these plays go out there. I put them in early so you can get them before the line moves. So if you see, and you'll see these lines I gave out last night, everyone that moved in our favor, I believe. All right, so Maryland minus 14.5, Tulsa minus 6.5, Michigan State minus 25, Virginia minus 19.5, Texas Tech minus 26.5, Creighton minus a 34, South Florida minus 15.5, Georgia 14.5 point favorite, Duke minus a 29, Miami of Florida, and Memphis will round it all up. 9 plays. My record, listen, my record right now, yesterday was 3-3. The day before, 8-7. The day before, 6-0. The day before that, 2-7. But overall, 64, 46, and 6. So we're hitting it close to the 60% clip. It's the projected clip on this basketball system. I would highly recommend you pay attention to it, because I'm giving it out for free, because there's a lot of games that's very hard for me to sell a package like this. But I'm going to teach you how to bet some early college basketball. So enjoy those games, guys. Enjoy the winners that we were able to provide for you here today. I'd like to thank the 3 Musketeers for joining me today, giving us some great information. So on behalf of Paul Bovi, Chip Chirimbes, and Ross Benjamin, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be here tomorrow at 7 a.m. with Tony Gulledge, and maybe Chip will join us tomorrow. We'll see. So let's have a great day today. Let's make some money. I'll see you again tomorrow morning on BettorCenter Live.